What up though? Welcome back to another episode for LLC TV. I appreciate you joining. I'm your host, JT, JTown32, of course. If you want to follow me on the social sites, that's JTown32, JAYTOWN 32. Personally, if you know me, then just JT. Limitless Lifestyle Crew is, of course, bringing you this video, and please follow Limitless Lifestyle Crew at LLC or Limitless Lifestyle Crew, all one word, on Facebook, on Facebook as well as Instagram, and then visit our webpage at limitlesslifestylecrew.com. Okay, so today is Tuesday, October 22nd, which means that it is the first day of the NBA season, and we have two games on schedule for the NBA season today. First being the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Toronto Raptors. The Pelicans, of course, were supposed to feature number one pick Zion Williamson, along with the Lakers cast that was traded there to get Anthony Davis on the Lakers. Drew Holiday is still there, and then the Raptors, the defending NBA champions, however, missing their biggest piece, Kawhi Leonard, who is now playing for the Los Angeles Clippers. Most people figured Kawhi was going to leave. I know early on, everybody they wrote off the Clippers, and the Clippers, were able to make a deal to get Paul George, thus ultimately landing Kawhi Leonard. So the Clippers look pretty dang good. I mean, AFC team last year that beat the defending champs, the two-time defending champ Warriors twice, beat them twice in round one. Now I know they got blew out the games that they did lose, but to defend or to defeat them twice, and I think both wins were actually in Golden State, that means something, obviously. So going into tonight, there are some notables that have come out that have changed the landscape of a few things. We found out that Klay Thompson is unlikely to play this year. Steve Kerr said that earlier today, which is a big blow to the Warriors, who will be struggling to score. There'll be a team that struggles to score the basketball. It sounds crazy with like Steph. I do think Steph will have like an incredible year, but they'll definitely they'll struggle to score the basketball at least as easily as they did before. While I like D'Angelo Russell, he doesn't shoot anywhere like Klay Thompson. He does, he's better off the bounce, off the dribble and everything, but he doesn't shoot like Klay. So that's a dimension that's going to be gone. I do think they'll still be a playoff team, 6 or 7 seed. I still think, honestly, I was hoping that Klay would come back because I thought they would get to the conference finals. I still give them a puncher's chance, man, just because they have people who can shoot the ball. But the thing is, outside of Russell and Steph, it's hard to find somebody else who can just like go get their own bucket. Draymond is going to be Draymond. He's going to be a triple-double machine. I expect his numbers offensively to be higher as far as like points, but it's still not that same effect when you don't have a Klay out there. So he'll still get triple doubles because he can find the shooters, and people they'll still be wide open because he'll be pretty much doubling Steph, tripling Steph, and at times doubling D'Angelo Russell. So I'm still excited to watch them. However, that's a big blow if Klay does not play this year. Zion will not be playing the first 2 months of the season, out 6 to 8 weeks with knee surgery, a torn meniscus in the preseason. Now that sucks. I think they got a payday for Pascal Siakam, which is good. They paid him. I think that's well worth it. But it just won't be as effective without Kawhi Leonard. I still think that they'll be a playoff team just because the AC. And I'm just being honest because the East is weak, but a lot of teams have gotten a lot better. So, I expect them to kind of make some noise, at least to get to the playoffs. I don't know what they'll do once they get there. And then that brings us to, there's still some people to watch. I want to watch Brandon Ingram. I want to watch Lonzo Ball. I want to see how they've improved and how they flourish outside of playing with LeBron. Because as you know, it's a little bit different once you once you play with LeBron, and now they don't have that. They're playing with Jrue Holiday. Next game of the night, which will be the Clippers and the Lakers. So the battle for LA is already on. Unfortunately, we'll be missing a big piece. Two big pieces. The biggest piece being Paul George. He is sidelined for I think they said maybe 3 weeks or something, 3 or 4 weeks with a shoulder injury. He had shoulder surgery over the summer and was very quiet about it, so not many people knew. But I am interested in watching Kawhi and Cass and see how they do. Lou Williams is still a bucket, so I know that he'll ball out tonight. And then the Lakers, they're going to be missing Kuzma, so Kuzma will be out. He'll be out a couple weeks as well, healing up. The Lakers team, man, I'm not as sold as a lot of people, but I do want to see how this thing goes. I do hope that the Lakers can get back to the playoffs. I do want to see Bron in the playoffs. It's just the playoffs is better that way. The ratings will tell you that. I don't care what you say, but the ratings will tell you that. Playoffs are better when Bron is there, because he is a factor in which somebody, either you love him or you hate him. So I want to see Bron in the playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see AD on a team that actually is going to be in the playoffs and can make a real push towards a finals appearance. A lot of people are picking them to win the finals over the Clippers. I'm not so sure about that, but I think the Clippers defensively, they have guns and they're locked in. So I'm not so sure, but I am definitely interested in seeing how this matchup is going to go tonight, and also understanding that the matchup tonight is not how it's going to look when they play maybe later on in the year, later on in the season. Albeit LeBron looks refreshed, so I'm expecting a lot from him. AD looks happy to be out of New Orleans. I'm expecting a lot from him. Kawhi is happy to be home. I'm expecting Kawhi things from him. So that should be a good game. So outside of the games of tonight, what we're really looking at is just the NBA season in general. I'll go ahead and talk about as far as the teams that I'm looking at, especially East. Of course, is going to be, I'm looking at the Bucks, 76ers. I still think the Bucks will probably they'll win 1 or 2 more games than the 76ers this season. Giannis is the truth. I mean, there's no other way to put it, but Giannis is the truth. So I think that Giannis will definitely lead them back to a #1 seed, but I think the 76ers have an awesome chance at ending up in the final. They are huge. I think the 76ers, they all 16 starters. The shortest one, or 4 16 starters, and then they have a 6'8" guy. But defensively, they should be pretty damn good with all of that size. And now that they have, they lost J.J. Redick. That's a big loss. But they did pick up Al Horford. Hopefully he can stretch the floor a little bit for Embiid. And then we'll continue to monitor Ben Simmons' progress as far as his jumper. But the Bucks 76ers, they look like the clear front runners in the East. I'm not discounting, what other teams can do, but they're the clear front runners. I am interested to see Indiana. As far as Oladipo returning, they were a playoff team last year, and I think they'll still be a playoff team. They might push themselves in that top 4. So I'm interested to see them. Adding Malcolm Brogdon is a big deal. And then the Celtics, Kemba Walker and the Celtics. It's really subbing out Kyrie for Kemba it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, you know, I do think overall Kyrie does some things that Kemba can't do, but you know, it's not the worst. It's not like a huge drop off, just being honest. And I think for the first time, you know, since the playoffs, you'll see Jason Tatum and hopefully Jaylen Brown, who just got paid, um, you know, start to feel themselves again, right? Because last year it just seemed like they didn't know what to do. You know, they wanted to put up these crazy numbers, but they didn't feel themselves enough to put up them crazy numbers when you're dealing with, you know, Kyrie as well, because Kyrie is a superstar. Well, I'm not gonna say he's a superstar, but he's a star player. So, and he brings a presence. He is a champion, you know. So he brings a type of presence that might make certain people feel uncomfortable. It is what it is at that point. So I'm interested in seeing in how the Celtics look. The Nets, it's kind of a wash year, unfortunately. KD isn't playing, so it's a wash year. I still expect them to make the playoffs. If they don't, then that says a lot more about Kyrie than anything or anybody else could, because D'Angelo Russell took that team to the playoffs. So the Brooklyn Nets, they will be under watch. A team that I want to see improvement from, Chicago Bulls. I like their big men. I like Wendell and I like Laurie. That's like a nice inside-out combo. I like Kobe coming off of the bench. He has a jump to his game, like a hop step to his game that not a lot of people do. And then we take a look at Orlando. I think Orlando will end up in the playoffs, as well as the Detroit Pistons. And then, of course, like I said, the Toronto Raptors, they'll end up there as well. On the side for the West, teams that I'm looking at, Lakers, Clippers. I still want to see what the Jazz are going to look like with Michael Conley pulling Donovan Mitchell off the ball. That should be good. So he'll pull Donovan Mitchell off the ball, so we'll get to see more of a slashing Donovan Mitchell, hopefully a jump shooting Donovan Mitchell. That should be good to go. The Warriors is going to be tough, but I am interested in watching them. Steph is going to be a show, of course, as always. But, you know, the Kings should make a jump. The Mavericks should make a jump. They're expected to make a jump. Overall, I mean, it's just a lot, you know. The season, you have a lot of teams and a lot of what they call just like duos now. So instead of like big threes, we got a lot of top twos. So really it's going to be, is the top two, is it between AD and LeBron, or is it a better duo, Kawhi and Paul George? That's what it boils down to. Houston, they're going to be good in the season, but what I see right now, and I noticed someone else say it too, Harden isn't taking like a back seat. And I don't mean a back seat in terms of he should let Russell hold the show. I mean a back seat in terms of he has to let Russell get off too. In order to win, you gotta let somebody else get off. That's just how it is, bro. Like, you gotta let somebody else get off. That's how you're gonna be successful. If he's not willing to do that, then you're looking at a long season or a long postseason for them. Although I think they'll make the postseason. I think Denver will still make the postseason. I got Michael Porter Jr. as my pick for Rookie of the Year. MVP, I'm going to go with MVP. I'm going with Giannis. Giannis is going to double up on the MVP. Defensive Player of the Year. Matter of fact, change Giannis out for, I'm going to get Embiid one. Embiid MVP, Giannis Defensive Player of the Year. Champions, I'm not sure yet. I'll come back a little later with a video of who I think is going to be the champions. But like I said, we are very close to opening tip. About 4 hours away. I'm excited. I'm also excited for TNT to be back, to see Chuck, Kenny, Shaq, and Ernie. So hopefully you all are as excited for the basketball season, the NBA basketball season, as I am. Like I said, we got a couple people hurt, so that sucks, but it's part of the game. So we'll see what goes on. Y'all let me know who y'all got picked to win, who's gonna win MVP, who's gonna be first team, who's gonna win the championship, all that yada yada. Y'all put that in the comments. Make sure to share this video, and let's get it started, man. Let's go.